connected here in the States, but to also build a bridge back to Africa where we have 1.4 billion black people there. And I wanted to read a couple of quotes, and I really would love to get your kind of opinions and what you feel about these quotes, because you said something like economic develops, right? It's a real world, right? So if we're looking at our problems here in America, Dr. King said the problems of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power. So when we're looking, like I see the NAACP, I see the chamber in here, I see so many different powerful businesses, but how are we connected? What happens if we all work together? Like, what does that do for us as a people? Because what we see is we see all these silos. I'm over here, the Urban League's over here, this team's over here, this person's over here, but there's no connectivity. But what if all your events were on the same platform where people knew they could go just find them? What if all the businesses that were in your chamber had one place where people knew they could shop black all year long? What if you needed an influencer to promote your business and you knew you could get a black influencer and pay them respectfully, not like some of these other platforms do, and they could go promote your business? What would happen? And so I want you to just start thinking about if we actually connected the dots, because that was Dr. King's dream. At first it was, we need to get this equality. But then it was like, we're not going to get this equality unless we have political and economic power. And now, the second quote I want to read is, we are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is the day. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is no such thing as being too late. There is no time for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action. So when I hear that, we have the tools now. Like, as a people, we have the tools. Black people could literally disconnect from everything and just be our own economy. So when I look at Dr. King and I think about all the powerful people that we have in this room today, I just want to do the bridge. Because if we can connect the chamber with the NAACP and then they work together, if we can connect your network with my network, because we got 1.4 million black people on our platform, then that way you're connected to our network, and then the information that we get out to people, everything like that, we have control. And so what I want you to think about in this year, as we approach this year, is the fierce urgency of now. If we connect the dots now, what does that do for our future generations? I'm a history guy, so I look at the 1920s. History is cyclical, right? In the 1920s, they had the Harlem Renaissance. And that's when black people came back and they started to take over this country. They started to see new industry, you started to see new art, you started to see these new things. It is now the 20s and the 2000s, and now you can see that we have everything set up. But it's about leaders like yourselves making the choice that we're gonna buy black. We're gonna partner with these black people. We're gonna have patience with our black people, because it's gonna take some patience. But it's an intentional decision that this is the dream that was laid out for us. You see so many people laid out this dream and they got killed for it. But now we have an opportunity. And if we don't do it, when is it gonna get done? We can't wait for another generation to give us the things. Like when you're talking about black kids getting punished more severely at school, it's because we don't have our own schools. When we have our own schools, that doesn't happen, because we see ourselves in those kids, so we're not going to treat them that way. But now is the time, out of any time in history, that we have the opportunity and we have the people and we have the resources that we could connect, that we could partner together, that we could work together, that we could disperse information together in a way that's never been done before. So I ask you today, and I know I'm not going to talk long, but I ask you today to think about the bridge. To think about what bridge, what connections that you need to make, to think about what forgiveness you need to give somebody so we can get back that connection to make those roadways clean. Because when we lead the way, the world's a better place. I don't know if you saw that Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp, but he talked about something and it has stuck with me, and it stuck with me, and it stuck with me. He said, our oppressors didn't forget who we were. We forgot who we were. And if we remember who we are, there is nothing that black people cannot do on this planet if we are connected. They cut the nose off the Pharaoh so we wouldn't recognize ourselves. And so they could tell us whatever they want. They know exactly who we are. So if we start to remember who we are, if we start to partner with each other, if we start to show love to one another, and then we go connect with our motherland, nothing we can't do on this planet. So I just want to say thank you for the leadership that you already do. Thank you for the things. And then now is the time, the fierce urgency of now to turn it up, to make it happen, to partner with people, to bring us to a level where we don't need to ask you for help. We don't need to ask you for those things. We don't need to wait for you because we got it in-house. Everything that we need as black people, we can do now. We can do it. And so I'm excited because that was Dr. King's dream, was to be able to have these things. Now we can get that political power. Now we can create a whole economy that's just us. So that way, if they choose to do something, that's cool. We can choose to do our own thing. If there's some information that we need to get out to black people, we can get it out to black people. And make sure that they know and that they're educated, because that's the thing is, people die from lack of knowledge, or they reject the knowledge. But if they see people doing that, you see how trendy things are. That's why we have influencers. Because if the trends or the kids are going to the TikTok and stuff with the trends, then we need to make sure they get the right information, and we can hire somebody to give it to them. Mm-hmm. And somebody that's black, who understands, who speaks their language, who can reach them on their level. So I'm just gonna say one more time, my name is Preston Harris. My company is called Vipsocio. We already got 1.4 million black people across the world on our platform. We have hubs in Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Cameroon, and we're just launching Cote d'Ivoire here next week. And our job is to connect, to be the bridge, because there's things about your culture as a black man that I don't understand as a black man. So if you don't ever show those to me, how am I supposed to see it? There's things that Kendra's Nigerian. There's things that she knows that I will never know. But if I don't connect with her, I'll never understand it. And the thing is if, especially back home, you don't know how much they look up to us black Americans, because the struggles that we've had here in the States, they just fight in Africa. They're just gonna go to war. They're gonna kill each other. But here, the nonviolence and resistance, they look up to us, but we don't know those things because we don't have that connection. So just be the bridge. Be that bridge. Continue to go out in the community, make a difference, but use black. If you have an event, put it with us. We'll push it for you. If you have a product, you have businesses in your chamber or in your group, put them on our marketplace. It's free. We made it free so we could connect the dots. It's a bigger goal, it's a bigger mission, because when we're all together, nothing on this planet can stop us. They make us look like we're the minority, but we're the majority. And when we remember that, nothing can stop us. So keep living the dream. Thank you for what you do, and love to talk with you.